I absolutely love the YouTube skincare community, and I have fallen just as hard for K-beauty. I can't believe it took me this long to try it, but boy am I glad I did. That being said, a lot of my favorite skincare influencers have been trying, using, promoting, experiencing, and sharing their thoughts about different K-beauty brands, specifically ones from CosRX, ByWishtrend, Dear Klaris, and needless to say, I have been intrigued. Now, here's my question. I want to know if they actually work on not only people who already have perfect skin, like James Welsh, Leah Yu, Hiram, Michelle from Lab Muffin Beauty Science, Susan Yara, but what about the sisters, the acne people like me who have more irritated and blemish-prone skin? And so that's why I got on the internet. I did the retail therapy thing again, where in quarantine I'm just going for novelty, and I know I shouldn't be switching up my routine this quickly, but it's so hard not to, so hi. Welcome to the Diaries of a Shopaholic. Make yourself comfortable and let's try some of these things out. Also, I am having a horrific episode of allergic rhinitis, so please excuse. See, all of this K-beauty being thrown around, I am also very proudly and a bit obnoxiously cruelty-free and vegan, meaning I put my money where my morals are and I don't want to purchase products that are tested on animals. And Wishtrend is where I decided to go shopping. The thing about Wishtrend is that everything on their website is cruelty-free. So although I'm still turning and learning my ingredient labels, everything is cruelty-free. So I know that as long as I make sure that they're vegan, nothing's off limits. Whereas there are other K-beauty brands that are not cruelty-free, and obviously, they aren't gonna get my money. We're working with them on this video to dive into whether or not these products actually work for people who have less than perfect skin. Hi, I'm Exhibit A. I also knew that they had their own products, such as the brand ByWishtrend, because it literally says Wishtrend in the title, but I did not know that Wishtrend actually owns and created other brands such as Dear Klaris. Klaris? Klairs? Klairs. Klaris? English? They also have other brands that people are constantly talking about, like CosRX, Skin&Lab, Rovectin, all that good stuff, and half of these brands I did not even know about until you started putting them in the comment section, until my other favorite skinfluencers started talking about them, and I actually got all of these recommendations in my YouTube algorithm ever since I started watching James Welsh's Wishtrend videos. Apparently Wishtrend has their own YouTube channel, and they actually make halfway decent videos. Like, that's actually good quality content. Usually brand YouTube channels are just abominable, like they're horrible. This one's actually not half bad. And needless to say, here I am again, searching out novelty and breaking my own rules of not trying too many skincare products too quickly, but I actually got some of these skincare products to help for other people that I work with, know, or can recommend them to, such as this one for eczema, but we're gonna talk about that a little bit later, because you know that every good skincare routine starts with a cleanser. Where's my tea? I had a bottle of water, hang on. Ugh. I just don't metabolize antihistamines quickly enough. Sad life. Speaking of good cleansers, this is the Dear Klairs Gentle Black Deep Cleansing Oil, and I originally thought this was going to be black, but it actually came out clear. And then I thought, okay, maybe when I put it under water, like it turns black. Nope, it turns like a milky white, and I think that the reason that it's titled the Black Cleansing Oil is because of some of the ingredients in it. James Welsh was the one who introduced me to this. It's a deep cleansing oil. He is a huge fan of the double cleanse method, and like myself, he also has very oily skin, but he loves hydrated skin, even though he's oily and rosacea prone. And when he said that he used this for winter, I was instantly intrigued. Apparently this actually helped him reduce his sebum production or his oil production over time. Obviously that's anecdotal evidence, but having very similar skin to him, I needed to try this out. The ingredients in here are specifically some of my favorites. We do have things like jojoba seed oil, which is what I use from Trader Joe's, which I love, but this is also combined with black currant seed oil and black soybean oil, and it's supposed to be a deep cleansing care program. James was totally right. This feels very luxurious, very non-stripping on the skin, and it really is a good first cleanser. Now, if you don't mind leaving oils behind on your skin, again, the ones in here don't raise any red flags for me, so you could use this as just one cleanse and then continue on with your life. If you're like me and you have acne, you probably still need to use an acne cleanser after this as a double cleanse method, but if you were just to use this and go, it wouldn't be half bad. And again, as winter approaches, I live in California, so who knows if it's gonna get cold or not, because Raging wildfires and global warming. Hi 2020. But overall, on first impressions, ingredients, formulation, touch, and feel, I do give this like an 8 out of 10. This is an excellent oil cleanser, and the only thing that could make it a little bit funner is if it actually turned black when you put it underwater or something. I think that would be so fun. The other thing, the reason that it's not a 9 out of 10, by the way, it is fragrance free, but the reason why for me it's not a 9 out of 10 is because I have acne prone skin with lots of scars. And although I love jojoba oil and this is a great product, I would have loved to see salicylic acid or something put into this. But overall, extraordinarily fun. And James Welsh, thank you. Thank you for recommending this. My epidermis is not disappointed. Now, when we talk about toners, Michelle Wong is hardly ever wrong when it comes to skincare recommendations. She's Lab Muffin Beauty Science here on YouTube. She's a chemistry PhD, and she and Hiram both recommend this product. This is the Mandelic Acid 5% Skin Prep Water. I love alpha hydroxy acids. This does have 5% of mandelic acid, which comes from almonds. It's an AHA. And when Michelle was talking about this, she was stating how it's actually more of a gentle toner. So for instance, if you still have acne or you need mild exfoliation, this will still do the job, but it's better for more sensitive or irritated skin. She was saying that it's really good if your skin needs a break, and I use the Ordinary's toner, which has a really low pH of like 3.6. It's like straight up glycolic acid. It burns me and I love it, but there are times when my skin needs a break, and the way both she and Hiram spoke about this, I was like, okay, I need to try it. Mandelic acid is really awesome. It works for most skin types because again, it is more gentle. Its chemical structure is different from other AHAs such as lactic acid or glycolic acid. It specifically has that benzene ring. And again, it has a higher molecular weight, which means it still penetrates into the skin really deeply. This is not like a polyhydroxy acid or anything, but it's large enough that it penetrates more slowly. And it's water soluble, whereas your skin has a lot of oil in it naturally. So I'm hoping that this will be like a nice skin break. When we continue to look at the ingredients, it does have sodium hyaluronate, so hyaluronic acid, which is really great for hydration and acts as a humectant. It's also got panthenol, that vitamin B5. It has Centella asiatica extract, which is very soothing to the skin, as well as arginine. And when I actually put this on, it doesn't sting. The Ordinaries, especially like after extractions or if my skin is a little bit more stripped, the Ordinary can sting. And again, I don't mind it, but this, it doesn't sting on my skin at all. And I actually find it to go on the skin very liquidy. It kind of sits there for, you know, about 30 seconds to a minute, and then it actually soaks in, which is like a very, very interesting delivery system. It's mainly water, but I find this to be really nice, and I feel like it's still giving me a bit of exfoliation, but it's more gentle. This I give a 10 out of 10. Again, I have to use it more, but undoubtedly this is such a fun and unique product. There aren't a lot of products that are mandelic acid and formulated this well, and this was a home run. And I'm going to continue testing this out, but I'm hoping this is something that I can use as a recommendation for others who say, you know, that more glycolic acid or low pH toners are too irritating for them, but who are interested in trying an alpha hydroxy acid. Now, both of these are from Dear Klairs, and at first when I was on the website, I was like, which one do I need? Should I get the Daily Skin Hydrating Water or should I get the Supple Preparation Unscented Toner? And I couldn't decide, so I kind of justified it by saying, well, this one's a toner and this one sounds more like an essence, so I could technically get both and layer them. And again, shouldn't switch this many products on your face at the same time. You know better. I definitely know better, and I always yell at people for it. But I'm also experimenting with these to try to understand this brand a little bit more and to also make recommendations to other people. So let's start off with this more regular toner. Again, James Welsh and Wishtrend just kind of go hand in hand at this point. James Welsh and K-Beauty just kind of go hand in hand at this point, but he loved this one. It is essential oil free, and he described it as smelling like the waiting room of a doctor's office, and the way it soaked into his skin looked really nice. And again, he and I generally tend to have a similar skin type, being very oily, but really wanting some of that hydration. Then I looked at the ingredients and it sealed the deal. This has peptides in it, this has licorice in it, this has beta-glucans in it, so these can be very soothing and hydrating to skin, and they can also help with dark spots, especially those left behind by acne. It is kind of a cool jelly texture. I again thought I was getting a toner, and it is a toner, but how would I describe this? It's kind of like a runny nose, actually. And I don't mean that in a gross way. You know the runny nose, like allergic rhinitis that I have right now, where it just runs clear? So it's kind of like that. Again, it's a little bit thicker than actual water, but it spreads so nicely onto the skin and it absorbs so quickly. When reading the ingredients, I'm assuming it's because it has natto gum. That's something that is a little bit more gelatinous and gives it more of that gummy texture. But again, it's not sticky on the skin either. So this was a very nice surprise, and I actually don't think it smells like the doctor's office. Maybe that's just because I'm always in a doctor's office and it just doesn't smell like that to me. Maybe my nose is broken. That's also a very likely possibility. But James mentioned that he loves this as part of the 7 skin method, where you basically apply 7 layers of a toner. He does the 4 skin method. He only does it 4 times. I even feel like 4 times is overkill, but I haven't tried the 7 skin method yet. So if that's something that I should experiment with, let me know and I'm happy to test it out for you. It's inexpensive, but it has a lot of great ingredients. It does have aloe and rose, so if you're more sensitive to those, be a little bit more careful. If you want something more exfoliating, definitely use this, but overall I am very, very happy. This was a very fun product. I would give this, again, a kind of like an 8 out of 10, maybe an 8.5 to a 9 out of 10. It's just very, very soothing and it does what you want it to. And then after I had started playing around with this, I was like, okay, well then why did I get this one? I could have just gotten this one, right? And then I tried this one and I was like, oh, that's why I got this one. This is the Daily Skin Hydrating Water, and can I tell you, this is huge. You are getting your money's worth, and if you wanted to do something like the 7 skin method, you would definitely have enough with all this. James Welsh made me do it again with this one. He described it as hydrating, soothing, and everything you want in a toner. And when I heard that, I had to try this. And this one, shockingly, is actually less like an essence and more like a toner than this one, which goes to show that even turning and learning your ingredients won't tell you everything, and that's why actually experiencing a product is very important. This one definitely comes off as more of a water, but it is quickly absorbing and it doesn't leave your skin feeling tight or dry. There are some toners, especially those with alcohol, that can definitely dry out the skin, and even ones with water, when you put that on, if they don't absorb, water can evaporate off the skin and it can actually cause the skin to have a little bit of water loss. It pulls water from the skin out of the skin, especially if you have a damaged skin barrier. But this one doesn't seem to do that. Mind you, I've only tried it a few times so far and I plan to continue using it, but one of the main ingredients is actually green tea water, which is again why K-Beauty is leagues above American Beauty at this point. In chemistry, water is the universal solvent, meaning that most things are dissolved in water because it works with just about everything. However, K-Beauty has said, why are people paying for a product that's like 50% or 90% water when we could be using things like Camellicensis leaf water or green tea leaf water or things like Centella asiatica extract or fruit extracts, you know, like pomegranate or avocado, because did you know that yes, technically an avocado is a fruit and so is a tomato. They got seeds. But biology aside, this is such a good formula, both on the ingredients list and on your face. It has betadine, it has panthenol, it has sodium citrate, which are all great to the skin, and it actually has coconut water. However, it's coconut water, not coconut oil. So if you have acne-prone skin, in theory, this should be safe for you. There isn't anything in here that treats acne, but I find this to be very, very gentle. And again, based on the size, based on what it was not what I was expecting, but I was pleasantly surprised by it. When it comes to what I was expecting, this did not match my expectations. I'm really intrigued by it, but I feel like I have to use it more or kind of warm up to it. Right now, I would probably give it a 6 or a 7 out of 10. It's kind of sitting around, kind of around Fenty Skin for me. Again, a really good product, a really fun product for the right person, but I just don't know if I am that right person yet. But based on the value is like a 10 out of 10. Excuse me. Then, the freshly juiced vitamin drop. Both Leah Yu and Edward Avila liked this one, and the way Leah Yu described it really sold me on it. She was confused by it. She didn't know whether she liked it or not, and she actually said that it kind of warmed up on the skin. And when she was explaining that, I was like, okay, it sounds very confusing, very perplexing, and very intriguing. So I took it as a personal challenge and then shoved it into my pores. She mentioned that a lot of people love this, and I do understand why. Again, this is basically a vitamin C serum. It is very liquidy on the skin. She described it kind of like squalane oil. I find that at least on my skin, which is more acne prone and creates oil naturally, squalane oil penetrates differently, but she is right. This does have a very dry touch and it does kind of sit on the skin. Now, by far, probably the coolest thing about this product is that it does actually heat up, both when you put it on your face and when you just put it on your hand. Like my hand is like, it's not tingling, but it's like warm, which I feel like is a very cool sensation, especially for like a vitamin C product, because I've had vitamin C products burn my skin, especially if they're formulated at like 30%, but I don't think it's the ascorbyl phosphate that's doing that with this one. When we look at the ingredients, this does have propylene glycol, which can help things penetrate deeper, and I wonder if that's maybe why it feels that way. And then pretty high up on that ingredients list, we also have anise and grapefruit. Both of those are fairly aromatic. Again, they're often used in cooking, and maybe these being more volatile substances are actually what's creating this feeling. Overall, I agree with Leah Yu that I don't like the packaging. I feel like they should have put this in a more light contained bottle. I understand that it's supposed to be more stable, but I can actually see like on the top where it's actually oxidized for mine. Thank goodness that's not happening in the formula itself, but I do see it just a little bit on the top there. And overall, I understand why she said she was perplexed by it and intrigued by it. I would say that I do as well have to warm up to this a little bit more. I don't know if I should give it a 5 out of 10 or like a 9 out of 10. Packaging, I give like a 4 out of 10. The actual sensation of the product, I give like a 9 out of 10. But as far as how it works for things like pigmentation or how it works on brightening the skin, I don't see immediate results when using it. And I would really have to, again, isolate my variables, try products in solidarity, and not switch up my routine so haphazardly if I actually wanted to give you an accurate account of how this works from a treatment perspective on skin. So similar to Leah Yu, I don't know where I sit on this, but I understand that a lot of people love it, and based on the experience, I fully understand why. I mean, you know how when you hit a piñata, it can kind of like explode? If that were a feeling, that's what this feels like on your face. But it's not like a ripping explosion, like a balloon popping. It doesn't hurt. It's just like a tingle, like a piñata filled with confetti that explodes. If that were a feeling on your face, this product would be it. If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend trying it because it feels very interesting. I just wish I knew more about both the stability and about the long-term results. And as you know, I'm a critic and a skeptic, and I do not want to tell you that something works if I don't actually know if it does. So, to be continued. Then a product that I thought would be quite similar, but that actually ended up being very different is this one. This is the Fundamental Water Oily Drop. James Welsh and Hiram both recommended this. Based on the way they spoke about it, I was like, okay, I have to try this. And I'm actually really impressed that I did. James said that it didn't feel oily on his skin. First off, it has a really nice long pipette, which I love. I actually feel like it does feel a little bit oily on my skin. There's something to be said about, you know, lipidic substances that just have that slip, and that's what this has to me. It also doesn't soak in as well or as quickly as like regular water does, and it doesn't evaporate off the skin like water does, which means, again, if you have a damaged skin barrier, you're not risking it grabbing onto water from the skin and pulling it out. This is a water-based product that is actually very, very hydrating. When we turn and learn those ingredients, it actually has a bifida ferment extract. This is a bacterial extract. As you know, our skin has a microbiome just like our guts and our axillary armpits and the rest of our body does. But the microbiome on our skin is becoming more and more researched. There's more and more research being done every single day showing how it might impact or play along with both the products we use and the overall health of our skin. And I love that this actually has this bacterial extract in it. On top of that, this actually has ceramide NP. Ceramides are made naturally by our skin, but they're amazing for both skin structure, skin health, and especially hydration. And normally you find ceramides in creams or in thicker emulsions. So the fact this is a serum or a very watery-like substance that has ceramides in it has been amazing. Probably a 9 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10 based on how I've tried it so far, based on the ingredients. I absolutely fell in love with this. But so far, this feels like a slam dunk. Like a basketball hoop into the hoop, kind of like the serum into my pores. Yes. James Welsh even said that if you didn't buy his little Wishtrend box, that this was the one product that he would recommend getting externally, and I didn't get the box, so I decided to get this product externally, and I am so happy that I did. Antioxidants, deep hydration, glowing skin, all around yes. Beauty Within actually spoke about this one and made me want to try it, not only for my skin, but for other people's skin, specifically those with eczema. This is the Barrierderm Intensive Cream from Skin&Lab. It actually seems like a really cool company. The founder wants to end world hunger, which is very, very noble of him. I have tried other things from this brand before, but as according to Beauty Within, this one is really a home run. This is supposed to be very, very soothing. When I actually read the ingredients, it does have a couple of different plant extracts, such as lavender and such as, rosemary. And at first I didn't mind that as much, and I thought it would still be okay. As I try it, I actually don't agree with them. I don't think this would be very good for sensitive skin. And when you do put it on, it actually has like these little beads in it. So these little beads do burst and then do nourish the skin. And they're not grainy, but overall this doesn't soak in the way I would really want it to. So I don't actually think I would recommend this for someone with eczema, especially if you do have sensitivities or a damaged skin barrier that could be worsened by different essential oils or fragrancing ingredients. Skin&Lab does have many other products that are very, very sensitive skin safe. I think they're an amazing brand. Just this one was not everything I was hoping it would be. The main ingredients are glycerin, which is a wonderful humectant. We also have, is it cyclopentasiloxane or cyclohexasiloxane? It is cyclopentasiloxane, which is great. This is a wonderful ingredient. It's also got dimethicone in there, and it does have some ceramide, so overall it is a very strengthening, nice cream, but it just wasn't perfect, and I would recommend, there's a green one that I think I would recommend over this. Overall, for generalized skin, I give this like a 6 out of 10, but if you've got acne-prone skin or eczema-prone skin, this is like a 4 out of 10, and it's just because there's nothing in here that's super revolutionary or sets it apart from other more basic creams, and if anything, it has ingredients that could be a little bit more irritating. So I would go for the green one in this line over this purple one, but at least I tried it. Not for me. What also set me up with some high expectations are this one that James Welsh recommended again. This is the Acid Duo Hibiscus 63 cream, and this was supposed to be an exfoliating cream. And again, I've used it a handful of times. I've used it on live streams, and boy, do I love this. This is a very, very gentle exfoliating moisturizer. It has PHAs and LHAs, polyhydroxy acids and lipohydroxy acids. Polyhydroxy acids are great. Their molecules are actually very much like a sugar molecule, but they're huge. She is thick. And so these thick molecules sit on top of the skin, they exfoliate, but they don't penetrate. The way James Welsh described both of these are like a leveled up version of AHAs and BHAs, like the new generation. I don't know if I totally agree with that analogy because they are different, but from like a generalized way to describe them, I do think that that is spot on. This is a hibiscus cream. This actually reminds me a lot of the Neutrogena water cream. I think this is an amazing, cruelty-free, and still very affordable dupe, and this actually was phenomenal. This made up for everything that this cream did not deliver on. And again, as we kind of see in some of these K-beauty products, the first ingredient is not water, the universal solvent, it's this hibiscus water. So they're actually using, you know, the antioxidants from the flower in order to formulate and base this product on. And I did just stick that in there, but this product is preserved well. It is preserved safely and effectively, which means that if there was anything on my fingers, it's gonna be okay. It's not the best, but you know what? If I had a spatula in front of me, I would use it. I just don't have a spatula in front of me. These appendages will have to do. This is a very lightweight cream, and I actually love that it doesn't smell. It actually doesn't have any fragrance in it, and I don't think that even the hibiscus is that irritating, which is phenomenal. It has gluconolactone, it has caprolol salicylic acid, so there is some exfoliating BHA type molecules in there, and then it also has carbamers, which is probably what's also helping it give it this kind of fluffy water texture. The texture reminds me of like permeable jello, like jello that's not gelatinous, like the texture of slime, but with the viscosity and the clarity of jello. But unlike jello, it's not gelatin, so it's cruelty-free. I wasn't expecting to love this as much as I actually do, and again, this is one that I give like a 9 out of 10. This was a very, very nice surprise, and I really, really love this product. Especially, I feel like I have a cruelty-free recommendation that I can now give to people who love the Neutrogena water cream, but you know, don't want to pay regulatory governmental bodies across the ocean to shove skincare into bunnies and puppies and mice's eyes. This one right here was $6 of how did you not try this sooner? These are the AC Acne Collection patches from CosRX, and I have heard James Welsh go off about these, I have heard Hiram go off about these, I have heard other people go off about these, and I cannot believe it took me this long to try them out. Again, they're like $6 to $8, and these are these hydrocolloid patches that go over pimples. Now, Hiram spoke about this in a video where he also spoke about Zitsticka. I love Zitsticka, and Zitsticka works very well for me and my acne-prone skin. And when he was talking about hydrocolloid patches and mentioned that yes, as a patch, they also help you to stop touching your pimples and picking them, which at this point we all know that I have a chronic and obsessive issue with. And I thought, you know what? I've heard about these forever. They are the perfect size for intensive care. It was high time to get them onto my face, and boy, I am not disappointed. They originally came with 2 different sheets, and yes, they are a very generic hydrocolloid patch. They don't have anything like salicylic acid or active ingredients in there. The Zitsticka ones really penetrate the skin and actually fight stuff, but if you're looking for something basic, something gentle for pimples, yes, and even more so, if you've got burns, cuts, or wounds. Again, in emergency medicine, these are the kinds of dressings that we actually use. These can decrease the scarring that can happen to skin after a pimple or after a wound, and the fact that this helps for pimples, they're inexpensive. You can also put them on other scabs and things to A, stop picking at your skin, as well as to help with blemishes and the healing process. For $6, they are a no-brainer to me. This was like a 10 out of 10. Maybe a 9 out of 10. It would be interesting to see these with like a benzoyl peroxide in them, which could be a little bit more drying. Ooh, or a sulfur, which maybe could be an improvement, but like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, this just hit the mark. Boom, literally. When Hiram spoke about not picking your face, I was like, boy, I mean, we know, but you don't have to come for me like that. No, but in all seriousness, at this point, we know I have an issue. We're not gonna hide it. We're just gonna try to choose products that help it. Overall thoughts, not just on Wishtrend, but on these products. This one is a definite pass. I wouldn't recommend it. However, some of the things like these, I can definitely see myself not only using, but recommending to others and purchasing again and again. There are still some that I have to get used to, but overall for my acne-prone skin, I feel like Wishtrend does have a lot of options, especially because they do carry such reputable brands. For me, my morals and values are something I'm very, very adamant about, and the fact that everything is cruelty-free just makes it easy. Like, I'm not afraid of hard work. I'm willing to do the work and the research, but the fact that I can trust that it's all cruelty-free is just so appreciated. Out of all of the skincare influencers that I watched and used as recommendations to find these brands, I think that Beauty Within was probably the biggest miss for me, and James Welsh and I do have similar skin. He talks about these products all the time, so I feel I had a very good array of options that he recommended that I was able to try. And overall, it kind of makes sense because he and I both have an oily and somewhat similar skin type. Wishtrend does have those boxes. Again, a lot of these recommendations came from like James Welsh's box or Hiram's box or, you know, Lab Muffin Beauty Science's box, but you kind of have to buy the whole box to get the promotion. What's amazing is that Wishtrend has a coupon code that actually gets you a percentage off. So like me, if you don't want to sit here and just buy a box of pre-selected products, you can actually use that to get money off of each individual product so that you can actually choose ones that work for your skin type. The code is 15 off for 15 days, and so yes, please use it before it expires in however many days. But if you're interested in purchasing K-beauty that is individualized instead of like a curated box, I mean, make like me and make your own box and put the things that you're actually interested into it, because again, I love James Welsh. His box seemed great. Lab Muffins, Hiram's all seemed great, but there were products in there that I loved and then some that I didn't love. They do have a vegan box that Hiram recently promoted that I am interested in trying, but I'm equally, if not more happy that this code exists for the next 15 days so that we can actually choose the products that work for us based on what our skincare routine is lacking or what we need, and actually use that to our advantage. Because again, if this came in my box, I would have been disappointed. Whereas with this one, oh, I'm all over it. I am so sad that I did not get to trying cruelty-free Korean beauty faster. I don't know why it took a global pandemic, wildfires, and the hell that has been 2020 for me to try it. But overall, I am very, very impressed. If there are other brands on Wishtrend that you would like me to try or test so that you don't have to, please let me know what they are, and I'm more than happy to look at the ingredients, swatch them on my skin, and do a little bit of a rundown with you. But overall, remember to put your money where your morals are. Keep turning and learning your ingredient bottles, use coupon codes when they're available, and overall make sure to be beautiful both inside and out. There's another video here on K-beauty that you'll probably like, and another video here that I'd recommend. Overall, I love you, and I cannot wait to see you in this next video. Love you guys. Bye.